anybody would like to speak at the call to the public, please complete a blue card and you can give it to me, and we can make sure that your voice is heard. Are you guys ready? All right. We are going to start tonight's meeting, Wednesday, June 10th at 6:30. Is that working? Oh, hang on. Redo. Technical difficulties. You got to turn the power on. No, it's on. Sorry. Okay, we got to redo this. Okay, I'm going to call tonight's meeting to order. It's Wednesday, June 10th. It is 6:32. I guess I'll do roll call. Ben Owens, Shante Rothschild, Lisa, oh, Shantae's here. All right. Lisa Garcia? Here. Carolyn Lopez? Present. And myself, Patty Coutre. All right. So we've asked Mr. Beckett to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance as his time is winding down with us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Beckett. All right, we're on D, adoption of the agenda. Do I have any motions or amendments?
Motion. Second.
I have to do two things now. I have to write all this stuff down. Okay. All right.
Let me help you.
I'm going to call the vote. Shante?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Motion passes. Superintendent's report. Dr. Lopman.
Thank you, President Coutre. The school year may be on pause, but learning is not. This summer, more than 40 MUSD teachers dedicated time to reinforce the strategies that keep students dialed in and learning. Rather than sitting through a presentation, teachers were up, moving and learning together, experiencing firsthand how Kagan cooperative learning structures create more active and engaging classrooms. It's the kind of work that helps move students from passive listeners to active learners. Past and future stood side by side at Maricopa High School as students, staff, alumni, and community members said goodbye to the 800 building. Architect Don Brubaker compared the campus to a garden, reminding us that sometimes pruning is necessary to make room for growth. That growth is already underway through the renovation of the old gym, which will soon house the Education Professions program and a new preschool. The 800 building will become home to a new career and technical education facility, creating space for students to explore careers, develop skills, and prepare for what comes next. Strong roots have always defined Maricopa High School. Now those roots are supporting new branches that will serve students for years to come. Shout out to our MUSD child nutrition staff. The community summer meal program is off to a fantastic start. Thanks to their hard work and funding from a federal grant, MUSD is offering free meals to all children aged 18 and under throughout June. Open to all children in the community, meals are being served at Maricopa Wells, Butterfield, and Santa Cruz. Remember, children must be present and all meals must be enjoyed on site. So stop by, enjoy a meal, and be sure to thank our child nutrition team for their continued service to our community. For 154 kids, summer has been filled with science experiments, art projects, outdoor adventures, and plenty of opportunities to make new friends. Those moments are part of the MUSD Summer Elementary Enrichment Camp, a new offering for families this year. Led by MUSD teachers, the camp is giving students another way to stay busy in all the right ways. And if the excitement we've seen so far is any indication, these students are making memories that will become part of their story long after summer is over. From assessment practices to school safety research, MUSD leaders are influencing the future of public education in Arizona. Brandy Williams served as a keynote panel speaker at the ESEA conference, describing how MUSD uses assessment data to inform instruction, monitor student learning, and advance student success. Her presentation highlighted the work of our teachers, coaches, and administrators, and showcased MUSD as a leader in using data to drive instructional improvement. Dr. Tracy Pastor was recognized with an Outstanding Dissertation Award from the ASA Doctoral Program for her research. Her dissertation, Student Voices on School Safety Measures in High Schools. She also presented her findings during a poster session, bringing perspectives to important conversation about school safety across the state. Together, they showcased the expertise within MUSD and the growing presence of our leadership across Arizona. And that's my report.
Thank you, Dr. Loebman. Board member reports. Member Rothschild.
Good evening, everyone. Happy summer. I, and along with Board President Coutre, had the opportunity to attend a school board retreat filled with lots of opportunities, updates, networking events, and so I'm even more excited to bring back the things that we learned here to MUSD to help us be even greater than we've been in the past. So that's it.
Thank you. Member Garcia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'll make mine brief. I had the honor and the privilege to attend various promotions, graduations, and award banquets and assemblies for the district, and to see the excitement and just the overall, positive energy there amongst not only the students but the parents and the families and their support groups was awesome. And I would like to say, thank you to the MUSD staff that, help make that possible every day and every year for our students. You do a great job, and I know we may not say it often enough, but again, thank you for all that you do and for teaching our students, guiding them, directing them, and for the patience and the due diligence that you show them each and every day when you show up. Thank you. That is my report.
Thank you. Vice President Lopez.
Thank you, President Coutre. So I can't quite write yet, bear with me. Usually I have this all written down, I can just list it off. Now I have to go back and forth on my phone. So I did attend the Maricopa High School, was it a cookout? What do we call it? Farewell to the gym. That was wonderful. It was wonderful to meet a mayor. What was his name? Edward, thank you. Farrell. Yes, the first mayor. That was wonderful, and learned a lot of stuff from him about our history. I attended it's an NSBA, National School Board Association, Transforming Public Education Board by Board webinar, and it was about the past, present, and future of American school boards. And it was interesting to hear the data that they have and where school boards have come from, their evolution through each decade since about 1960 up until present. And if I would encourage anybody, get on their website, it's online, they posted it. They brought in data from the new Brookings reports, and then the Brown, where is it? Sorry, I did make notes. The Brown Center of Education and Policy. It was really interesting on each board's problems that they were bringing up, and it was very validating on what we're all trying to do and the different barriers with each of that. So I just found that really informative. That's my report.
Thank you so very much. So obviously, a lot of us attended the end of year celebrations. That's always my favorite part of being a board member, is celebrating the accomplishments of our students. So that was a lot of fun. Saying goodbye to Middle Earth. When I moved here, that was our middle school for the last year, and my oldest son attended it. So it was kind of, it was very fitting to be able to be a part of the goodbye for at least my family story and so many others that have been around since they started calling it Middle Earth, the English department. That's all I can say. Was able to attend, as Member Rothschild said, the Summer Leadership Institute, it's called, and it's put on by ASBA. And it was one of the best conferences that I have attended, and I've attended a lot of ASBA conferences throughout the year. And they seem to have gotten back to the focus of how to support board members dealing with the issues that are relevant today. And I was thoroughly excited. I downloaded all of the materials, and I'll have Lisa share that with you. I've talked to Dr. Lotman just briefly, but I would like to put on an agenda item for us to discuss again the possibility of rejoining and becoming a member of ASBA. When we left a couple years ago, we did it. They were having some issues. We weren't getting out what we needed to get out of ASBA being a member. I'm glad we did what we did because it really helped us. We went through an entire policy review. We went from the alphabets to the numbers, and it was, more succinct with the statutes, which is what our policies should be, and we got rid of a lot of redundancies that we had been doing. So I was glad we're doing that, and I'm happy with our policy structure the way we have it. But ASBA does offer many professional development opportunities for boards. I think we've missed out on some of those opportunities, and even the networking, because networking is huge. You can go to the breakout conferences, you can learn a little bit, but the conversations that you have at the table or at dinner or at lunch can be that much empowering as well. And so I want us to maybe reevaluate that. As a board, we have expectations for our staff to go through professional development, and we should lead by example and do that ourselves when we can. Now, granted, we all have lives and jobs, and sometimes we're not able to attend a lot of it, but like Carolyn found one that is online, a webinar. I know ASBA also has several of them, so we will take a look and discuss this at a future agenda, okay? All right. With that, we're gonna move on to our first information item, possible cell tower land lease. Mr. Harmon. For the summertime, I would like to have walk-up songs, just for the summertime.
I'm down. All right. Well, good evening, President Coutray, members of the board, and Dr. Lotman. The purpose of this presentation is to present information regarding possible cell tower land lease opportunities. This initiative directly supports the MUSD Strategic Plan Goal 4, optimizing resource allocation and reimagining resources by leveraging external infrastructure to generate non-taxpayer revenue. Working with AnthemNet, two primary locations have been identified for these Verizon-sponsored projects, one at Desert Wind Middle School and one potentially at Desert Sunrise High School. AnthemNet has already completed the initial planning and sponsorship phases for both of these campuses. At Desert Sunrise High School, the proposed tower location is on the western edge of the property. We show a map there that can help give a better view of where that would be. The towers are strategically located away from the main campuses near the edge of the properties to ensure it does not interfere with student activity or school operations. Similarly, at Desert Wind Middle School, the proposed location is tucked into a corner of the property near the parking lot and Tarragona Boulevard. This placement utilizes a 30-foot right-of-way and is situated along the parcel line to minimize the footprint on usable school grounds. Understanding the importance of campus aesthetics, the proposal includes a broad faux leaf tree designed and not the standard industrial tower. The stealth monopole will house the Verizon antenna array at the center height of approximately 104 feet, with the branches extending higher to blend the structure into the natural landscape. It'll blend into all the 104-foot trees in the area. Sorry, that wasn't in my narrative. Let me review the partnership with AnthemNet. MUSD acts as the leaseor with zero monetary commitments. AnthemNet covers all development and operational costs. Furthermore, every installation requires a structural analysis and a maximum permissible exposure study to ensure strict adherence to FCC safety limits. The financial review, the district will receive $1,500 per month in rent per tower with a 2% annual escalator. Additionally, there is a $5,000 one-time lease commencement payment to the district and additional one-time $2,500 payments for every additional carrier that joins the site. With both proposed sites, yearly revenue is approximately $36,000 a year, which could be reinvested directly into educational programs. That concludes the presentation. Happy to answer any questions. This is information. These are not official contracts. That's correct. We're bringing information to the board to see if this is something we want to move forward with.
Okay. Mr. Harmon, I do have a couple questions, and I did already get the answers, but I thought they were good questions to ask in case the public would like to know. And part of, at the Desert Sunrise High School, that tower is actually behind the gates, per se.
That is correct.
And so off hours, if something was to happen or they needed to access it, how would they access it?
Right. Part of these agreements, they would need 24-hour access if an issue came about. So they would have gate access to our sites if there was an event, and we would have a contract that would have the necessary language to ensure that we were safe and that we were adhering to any statutory rules or laws. You know, and who they contact the district, we'd probably have them contact someone in the district letting us know that they're coming on our property before they could come onto our property.
Okay. And the other question is, granted, it's not large dollars, but any dollar is a large dollar in my book. Where are we going to, do we have to spend that revenue on certain items, or how can that be spent?
It's a great question. This would be similar to rental funds. It's very unrestricted. We would likely direct the revenue towards capital-like projects, but it's unrestricted, so we would have the ability to do operational or capital-type expenditures with this revenue.
And the last question I had, and I didn't answer this, but it just popped in my little brain of mine. What is the timeline for this?
No timeline. So they've completed studies. Obviously, they would like to move forward. Verizon's interested in these two locations. I think anyone that tries to use a cell phone on that side of town it's a struggle. So if Verizon's trying to get a tower, they're going to get a tower if it's with us or if it's with someone else. So if these opportunities fall through based on timeline, there's always a need for these kinds of things in growing communities like ours.
Well, have they asked us to respond back by a certain deadline on whether or not we're interested in going forward with this?
They've definitely been reaching out regularly to see kind of where we're at on this process. So they're excited to hear how this goes tonight.
Okay.
I have a couple questions. The contract that they would sign, they would carry the liability. Let's say they don't remember to close the gate or something happens with that. Who's liable?
So that would be, some of the language that we would work through to make sure that it's included in the contract.
Okay.
They should be liable for leaving a gate open or for, any kind of damages that happen on our site.
Okay. So no recourse back on us if a what if happens.
Yeah, the whole idea is that we are held harmless to any expense of any kind, and that we're just going to get some revenue.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The second question I had is in there. Is this a either or is this both?
It is both.
They're proposing two locations. It's whatever direction we're okay with.
Do we have to get any kind of approval from the residents at the Desert Wind site? Because it looked like there were houses right under that one.
No, both of these locations are on our property and not the Desert Wind location's closer to houses than the Desert Sunrise location.
Right.
Not right underneath it.
No, it just looked like it was in their backyard compared to where see those houses right there?
Yeah,
How they butt right up against are,
If I go to this location, you can see the dotted line is like the fence line, so it is close to our fence line.
Right.
But it's on our property.
right,
But as far as permissions with city or with residents, that would be something that Antoinette, who does these kinds of projects throughout the state.
they would get that
would know.
permission?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I
it
just
would
didn't
be,
know if it was them or us that needed to,
no, they would be the ones getting approval from the city or from the residents. They're just leasing our property.
gotcha.
If I may, before any of this goes through, there's a contract that is vetted through their legal, through our legal,
Gotcha.
that will encompass these and any other questions, any other eventualities or contingencies that may come up. And, you know, working with Verizon and this other company, they're throughout, they're throughout our state, so there's plenty of experience there.
Nice.
And so, and same with our legal team
Okay.
as well.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions?
A few questions. So, Mr. Harmon, thank you again for doing the research. When you initially presented this to us, of course, we had lots of questions. Going back to a couple, so technology, safety, I'm sure parents will be concerned. Will there be any negative impact with a tower being that close to school? Is there research or things that would be available to family or community members if they had questions? About anything
They're definitely
related to that?
required, sorry if I spoke over you. They're required to do a study through the FCC to ensure that this maximum permissible exposure, these levels are within whatever acceptable ranges. As far as you asked if community would know if those studies had happened. I'm not sure.
So it actually went into my next question, which was many times when we introduce things, there are opportunities for families or community members to review it and give input or what have you. Is this something that also would be available for families to review prior to the implementation, or is this something that is a board, school district, we make those decisions?
I don't know the answer to that question, but we could certainly, if we move forward, get some clarity around that. If there's a public hearing of some kind that
Yes,
they
that is-
manage whenever one of these towers is going up in a neighborhood.
Another good source of information is other school districts who are doing this, and we can certainly find out what their preliminary kind of due diligence was with their communities as well.
And these
If
towers
the
are-
board even wants us to advance this.
Sorry, Doug.
So this is why we have this as a information item now, so that hopefully those that are interested in this topic will watch the meeting and then get back to us. This is why we try to not have the same, like have it presented and then approved at the same time, so that they do have, because it is important. It's important to me
definitely.
that they have that opportunity to come back and say, well, what about this and what about this? And then we have ample opportunity to ask those questions as well before we make a decision to move forward.
And then my last question, and it may already be on your list. For whatever reason, the providers no longer want to utilize or lease the tower. So what happens with that? Are we responsible for removing that? Would it stay and just not being used? So don't necessarily need an answer today, but that's something that we might want to research if we already don't have that information.
Yes, there would be clear termination language in our contract that if this tower was no longer needed, that it would need to be removed and our site would be made whole.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Harmon, thank you. And since you're up there, why don't you go on to the next one, which is our proposed budget highlights.
Great. So thanks again and good evening, President Coutre, members of the board, and Dr. Lobman. This presentation will review the highlights for fiscal year 26-27 proposed budget. Our proposed budget aligns with all four goals of our strategic plan. I want to highlight some key items of the budget. First, I'd like to mention that we do not yet have a state-approved budget, but we're getting close. So to adhere to board meeting schedules and statutory deadlines, we're proposing a budget on preliminary budget forms released by the Auditor General with some basic assumptions. So we're assuming a 2% increase to the base level amount per student. up to $5,215.53. These preliminary forms are also missing a few add-ons that are likely to be approved in the budget. State aid supplemental, this year's portion was almost $660,000. Some one-time DAA supplemental funding of almost $250,000, and the FRPL poverty weight, which was about $440,000 this year. Again, likely will be in the state budget, and we will revise our budget when that happens. Some other highlights include $960,000 in additional funding for our teacher experience index for having teachers above the state average. And classroom site fund increased from $842 per pupil to $883. Some additional highlights and celebrations. We're continuing to invest in site-based leadership and decision-making through multiple funding sources. Included in the budget is to maintain current benefits without increasing employee costs for medical insurance. Provides for a 3% salary increase for all staff. Increases the teacher base to $57,000. Includes $3 million of additional staffing. Some highlights within that $3 million is $700,000 to ESS staffing and over $500,000 in Tier 3 student behavior management. We're also increasing our investments in teacher professional development by $250,000. The proposed general budget limit for M&O is $90.6 million. That's a $2.8 million increase from last year's general budget limit. Here's a review of our available funds and the expenditure plan for operations. Many of the details on this slide were discussed at meetings over the last few months. Some newly added items to this plan are the increased investments in teacher professional development and the addition of the SSP counselors. Our SSP grant allocation is declining and some positions are moving to M&O. After addressing all the items on this plan, we have about $120,000 unallocated at this time, plus $900,000 in contingency staffing, which is a good buffer to begin the next school year and evaluate our actual enrollment. Here's a review of the capital budget and expenditure plan shared at our April board meeting. The per pupil for classroom site fund increased from $842 to $883, which generates $10.1 million. We add any unspent carry forward and interest earned from the prior year, and our budget limit is $17.5 million. We have total expenditures planned at about $9.9 million towards teacher salaries. We should end next fiscal year with around $7.5 million in reserves to carry forward in classroom site fund. The budget includes nearly $4.4 million to levy for adjacent ways to cover the proposed expenditure plan. On the expenditure plan, Farrell Road construction is estimated at $14.5 million. The MSIDD canal estimate is $10 million. We're planning to levy $500,000 for some parking lot projects throughout the district, which gives us a $25 million budget need. We have an estimated ending balance at the end of fiscal year 26 of just over $20.6 million, which requires a $4,359,885 adjacent ways levy. This summary slide reviews the budget limits of the funds in our proposed budget. The combined budget limit of these four funds is nearly $139 million. As a reminder, the Adjacent Ways Fund is the mechanism by which school districts construct, maintain, or otherwise improve any public way adjacent to any parcel of land owned by the school district. It is used for the construction of sidewalks, sewers, utility lines, roadways, and other related improvements in or along such streets and intersections, and to pay for such improvements by the levy of a special assessment on the taxable property in the school district. This assessment is part of the budget adoption, so once the board approves and authorizes the advertisement of this proposed budget, we will post a truth and taxation notice in the paper and on our website about the special assessment levy. And that notice will be for a public hearing taking place on July 10th at 6:30 p.m. During our budget adoption and truth and taxation. This table shows our tax rates for the proposed budget. These are unofficial numbers. We work with Pinal County to set the official figures. I won't go into each line, but the highlights are our total primary tax rate is decreasing by 40 cents. Our total secondary tax rate is decreasing by 8 cents. And our unofficial bond tax rate is relatively flat, but importantly, it's staying under 80 cents, which was our commitment. Overall, the district's tax rate is decreasing by 48 cents, which means next year each homeowner will see a reduction in taxes of about $48.22 per $100,000 of limited home value. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about the proposed budget.
Board members, any questions for Mr. Harmon? Mr. Harmon, thank you.
None? All right, great, thank you.
Don't get that excited. There's still more to come. All right, we are called to the public. I have not received any blue cards, so we do not have that. So our next item is consent agenda. Do I have any motions?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Member Rothschild?
Aye.
Member Garcia?
Aye.
Vice President Lopez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Member passes. All right, our first action item, discussion and possible approval of personnel schedule. Mr. Beckett?
Thank you, President Coutray, members of the board, and Dr. Lohman. I first want to say thank you. Thank you for your service. It's been my pleasure and privilege to serve the district here over the last 17 years. And I just appreciate the support that I've always felt from the governing board. And obviously, sometimes an underappreciated role that you serve. So thank you for your service to the district.
Mr. Beckett, did you ever think that when you started as the PR guy, that you'd end up as the HR guy?
I hope not, but it's been a blessing, it really has. You have the personnel schedule in front of you tonight. I'm happy to answer any of the questions you have at this point in time.
Mr. Beckett, I have one big question. Where are we at in our staffing?
As of today, 10.5 gen ed teachers still looking for, and we have 5 special education teachers we're looking for. We've made good progress over the last month, and again, I know principals are still working hard to fill those last holes. Many of the sites are down to a single person that they're looking for.
And with our new, going forth with our new behavior program and how we're addressing that at elementary, where are we at in filling those positions?
And I have to get back to you, Member
Okay.
Coutray. I'm not exactly sure. I know we've had them posted for about a month here.
Okay.
So I'll get that information to you, though.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Beckett? Any motions?
Motion.
Second.
Member Rothschild?
Aye.
Member Garcia?
Aye.
Vice President Lopez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Motion passes. Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Beckett. Discussion and possible approval of our 26-27 proposed budget. Mr. Harmon, see, I told you you'd be back up.
Right, well, we had the presentation, so if there's no questions, we're seeking support and approval of the fiscal year 26-27 proposed budget so we can advertise and prepare for our July 10th adoption.
I move that we accept the budget as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Member Rothschild?
Aye.
Member Garcia?
Aye.
Vice President Lopez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Motion passes. All right. Discussion and possible approval of the guaranteed maximum price for the Maricopa High School Workforce Development and Gym Renovation Project. Mr. Harmon?
Again, thank you, President Coutray, members of the board, Dr. Lopman. This is an action item to approve GMP number 2. So we had a GMP number 1, which was an early GMP for the demo.
Mm-hmm.
This GMP 2 is for really everything but the gym and the ed profession. So everything that's replacing the 800 building is included in this GMP 2, and we're seeking approval. We have representations from CORE in here, Mateo. So
Thank you for being here.
recognize him.
And this is all bond money.
That is correct.
Okay. Are there any questions, motions?
Move that we accept the proposal as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Member Rothschild?
Aye.
Member Garcia?
Aye.
Vice President Lopez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Get to it. All right. Possible, discussion and possible approval of the Arizona School Risk Retention Trust prepaid account. Mr. Harmon?
Great, thank you again. Looks like I'm still up here for a few items. We have an action item for a prepaid account with the Arizona School Risk Retention Trust related to an item we had at the previous meeting for an investment account. And so we put some slides together to explain a little bit about these accounts and what they're needed for. So this initiative aligns with Goal 4, reimagining resources. Our insurance and risk management services with the trust include our general liability, cyber, auto, and all risk property. Our like-for-like renewal for fiscal year 27 was a $96,676 increase. Some of that increase is the increase in square footage due to adding a new school, an increase in the number of employees we have, the increase in our bus fleet, as well as some standard market increases. We currently have the lowest available deductibles for each of these categories. For workers' compensation, our like-for-like renewal for fiscal year 27 was a $70,811 increase. Workers' compensation calculations are based on the total estimated payroll costs, so the increase in new positions and our 3% raise, as well as standard market conditions, are what led to that increase. So seeing these increases, we did a deductible analysis with the trust. And in that process, we discovered 2 leverage points that could yield significant savings by increasing our deductible amounts. Increasing the general liability and our all-risk property deductibles to $100,000 would change our renewal from an increase of almost $100,000 to a decrease of just over $200,000. That would yield a 1-year savings of $300,000. To put the significance of that savings into perspective, our total claim costs for the last 5 years in these 2 categories was just under $450,000. This works just like your personal car insurance. If you increase your deductibles, your monthly premiums will go down. For workers' comp, we have great loss ratios, making us a perfect candidate for the retrospective plan, which is primarily a loss-based plan. This means that if we have a 50% loss year next year, we could see our actual costs as low as $275,000, which would save us just over $300,000, about $307,000. But under this plan, if we had the worst year ever, our maximum out-of-pocket costs are capped at $599,960. So even in the worst case scenario, we're going to save $16,000 by moving our workers' comp to this retrospective plan. And if we have a year like we had last year or this year, or really over the last 6 years, every year but one, we would have saved $300,000 to $400,000 a year under this retrospective plan. I'll continue. I'm sure you'll have questions. So to summarize, these adjustments to our deductibles and our workers' compensation plan could yield a maximum 1-year savings of about $676,000, or on the minimum side, $314,000. These savings are possible by increasing our deductibles, which moves some potential risk to the district. When thinking of risk in our insurance, a good rule of thumb is to plan for a bad year every 5 years or so. So what we do is, with these savings, we set that aside as an emergency fund for a potential bad year. We do that with these accounts through the trust. So last board meeting, we approved that TIP account of the trust investment pool account. We plan to deposit about $476,000 of this potential savings into the investment account, which then grows by 5 to 10% a year. While we can still access those funds fairly quickly, we need this prepaid account that's on the board agenda tonight for our deductibles because it needs to be more liquid. We're required to hold at least our deductible amounts in the prepaid account. So in this case, $200,000, one for each of those 2 categories. And if approved, we would put $200,000 into that prepaid account. And then the idea is that we, incur some savings over the next few years, build up a reserve, and then potentially can start reinvesting some of this back into our programs. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Mr. Harmon, I know I had asked to put this on the action item. I wanted to showcase what we are doing as far as being fiscally responsible. and the community pride, taking care of, of everything, actually, when you look at this, to know what our track record has been, that we're saving for the future, and we're saving right now. I know that if we move forward with this, this would be something that would be an annual thing, just like the other account. But I wanted to bring it to the forefront, and also I needed to understand a little bit more about it, so I do appreciate you sharing all this information.
Yeah,
But
my pleasure.
I appreciate everything that you and your staff do to put all this together for us.
Great.
Any questions?
I had some, but as you went through your presentation, you answered them. So one I didn't hear was, is the prepaid account interest-bearing? Did you?
I believe the prepaid account will be interest-bearing, similar to like a standard savings account, so there will be some small interest. But the investment account is actively invested in very safe, it's like bonds, it's very low risk things, but it'll grow at a much higher rate than your standard savings account.
Thank you. That's it for me.
All right, do I have any motions?
Motion.
I have a motion.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Shantae?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Carolyn?
Aye.
And myself, aye. 4-0. All right. Mr. Harmon, discussion and possible approval of playground equipment grants.
Okay, again, thanks, President Coutray, members of the board, Dr. Lohman. We have an item before you to approve some grants for playground projects at Maricopa Elementary and Santa Cruz Elementary. We received grant opportunities to cover 35% of the cost of replacement at those two campuses. And we're excited about that, the award of that, and we'll bring it to the board for acceptance and approval.
And again, this was another one that I wanted to bring forefront, just to showcase how our staff is always looking for other opportunities out there to save us some money. And I'm excited. I love when we get to redo the playgrounds. It's so much fun. Just out of curiosity, where was this grant? Who found this grant? Just out of curiosity, was it?
That's thank you for asking that question. This came through Mr. Chad Whittle. We're replacing playgrounds at 3 locations. These 2 were part of a vendor that had access to some grant funding, and so we were approved the 35% at both of those campuses. That the playground equipment that we're replacing comes from that same vendor.
Fantastic.
And we get to be the first ones to try
I
it
was
out.
going to ask that, yeah. Yeah. Call dibs on the slide.
No, this, so I don't know if I misspoke. This equipment is not, it's not like a experimental vendor or anything. This is replacing equipment with the same vendor that we've had for decades.
They still want to go on the slide first after it gets replaced.
I'm happy to try the slide out if that puts us at ease.
I think that's what they were asking.
That's what we were getting to.
Can we try the equipment out first before a child
Oh, I
goes on
misheard
there?
you. You want to try it out first.
I would like to try it
Absolutely.
out first.
We have a waiver, I think.
Yeah, if they wouldn't give me a sledgehammer, I don't know. Okay. Do I have any motions?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Member Rothschild,
Aye.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Vice President Lopez.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Motion passes. We are down to our last item, adjournment. Do I have any motions?
Motion.
Second.
Member Rothschild,
Aye.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Vice President Lopez.
Aye.
And myself, aye. 7:15, record time.